Hi, I'm Dr. Scott Hannon, Superintendent of Winona Area Public Schools, and you're watching Making the Grade. Today it's my pleasure to have Arthur Williams, elementary school principal of the Jefferson Elementary STEM School. So welcome, Arthur.
Thank you, Scott.
This is your first year with us. Can you give us a little bit about your education and your work history?
Well, I am from Bloomington, Minnesota, born and raised there, graduated from Kennedy High School, and then from high school I went to the University of Minnesota where I got my teaching license from, my master's degree, and I spent my first 7 years in education as an elementary school teacher, 4 years as third grade and 3 years as a fifth grade teacher. Last year I was down in Kansas City, Missouri as an elementary school principal, and this year I find myself here at Jefferson Elementary STEM School.
Well, I can tell you, Arthur, we're glad to have you back in Minnesota. And
I'm glad to be here.
Good, great, and I just wanted to mention before we go on, at University of Minnesota you played in their marching band. Is that correct?
I did for 5 years.
5 years, and
in
had
the
a great
clarinet section.
Great experience,
yes,
I understand.
I did. Yep, got to travel with the football team to the bowl games and the women's basketball team when they went to the Final Four with Lindsay Whalen and the crew, and
very
so
good.
it was a good experience.
Very good experience. So what drew you to the principal position in the Winona Area Public Schools?
Winona has been an area that my wife and I had driven through a lot because we go camping one time a year, and we'd always go camping in the Great River Bluffs, and so we'd always stop and eat lunch or dinner in Winona. And my wife being the outdoor person, as I was looking for jobs at the end of last school year, I said, oh, hey, Winona's up. What do you think about that? And right away, we were both attracted. We looked it up and saw the Great Bluff area, and so we know it would be a chance for us to do some more camping and just spending more time outdoors.
So have you had a chance to travel around the area thinking about maybe where you're going to pitch your next tent?
Oh, we went in October, we actually went back to Great River Bluffs camping. We had just gotten our little dog, and so we took him camping with us. And so we're already starting to plan some camping trips in May and June and such. So
very good, very good. So now you're getting acclimated here. You've been here most of the year, and you've certainly enjoyed the winter like we all have.
Yeah.
So what have you discovered about the school, staff, students, and the families of Jefferson?
One of the first things I noticed about the school is, you know, people are like, oh, what are you here for? I say, oh, I'm the new principal at Jefferson. And right away, no matter who I talk to or run into in the community, there's always someone has some kind of tie with Jefferson. It's either one of the real estate agents we first met when we came down and started looking at houses. She was actually a student at Jefferson years ago. And I run into people in the community, oh, my grandson goes to Jefferson, or my brother's kids went there. So someone always has some kind of connection to Jefferson. I think that speaks a lot for, you know, Jefferson as a school, and I know it's a very important thing in the community. As far as the staff, they are the most dedicated people I've worked with so far. You talk about professional, you would see a picture of the Jefferson STEM staff. I mean, always willing and wanting to do what's best for kids, spending endless amount of hours making sure all of the educational needs of their students are met. And it's great to be part of such a caring professional team. As far as the students go, I mean, a great group of kids. I mean, I just love going in the classrooms each and every day. They're always so excited to show me, oh, Mr. Williams, look at what I did. And, you know, coming up with great sentences for our word of the week sentences, and just using that engineering design process and really seeing them think as scientists is great for me. And as far as the families go, I mean, a very dedicated group of parents. I mean, our PTA does such a fantastic job of having monthly events, and the turnout by family members is great. So we have a great community at Jefferson. I'm very, very proud to be part of that group.
Well, good, great. We're really pleased to have you as part of that family up there. When you got to this position, the Winona Area Public Schools over the period of the last couple of years had transformed the Jefferson School into a STEM school. And we started with one program with just one section, K through 4, and then, boy, it went over so well, and we had so much enthusiasm for it from our parents and our students and staff that we decided to create the whole school and make it a STEM school. And You've kind of walked into this situation, and how's that been?
It's been great. Going back to that last question about the staff, I know it's not easy. You're used to one way of teaching and then transforming your school to a STEM school. The staff have just done a great job of wanting to do that professional development and learning the best ways to teach STEM. And when you think of STEM, the science, technology, engineering, and math, they take what they're teaching and make it into relevant real world problems, or they take it so that it's relevant to the students for real world problems, and the students go through the engineering design process to solve those problems. And along the way, the students learn the 21st learning century skills that are going to be essential for them as they go throughout their educational career.
So it's been, I know that you had some STEM in your background, but I think it's been somewhat of a transformation for you to kind of transform yourself into a STEM leader.
Absolutely.
Has that been difficult? I think conversations we've had, you've embraced it, obviously.
Yeah, I love it. For me personally, one of my goals is always just to be the best leader that I can, and becoming the principal at the STEM school has really stretched me to become an even better leader. And I think one of my philosophies is model what you preach about. And for me to model it for my staff and the staff to model it to the students, I think is helping us grow and embrace the STEM philosophy more at Jefferson.
Great. Some people still are just maybe a little unsure of, this is what's being taught in our building, and now that STEM is at Jefferson. What's the difference? Maybe you could pinpoint just a couple things to point out that, there's some sameness, but yet there is a difference that creates this different environment of learning.
Yeah, and when you think about it, 65% or more of jobs that our students will face as they go into the workforce aren't even created yet. And when you think about those jobs, a common thread seems to come up: the science, technology, engineering, and math. And you're going to see a lot of those jobs not be in silos or work in cubicles. Teams or companies are going to want employees that are able to think out of the box and to be able to work as teams. And at Jefferson, that's one of the things that we really take pride in through that inquiry-based learning and getting kids to think outside the box and work together. So at Jefferson, we just build that great, strong foundational base for those kids to gain those skills as they go on, so that they can be competitive as they go out into the workforce when they get older.
Yep. The other thing that district-wide we looked at when we created the STEM school at Jefferson was that it's an opt-in. So parents have to go in a lottery system and apply for it. And why do you feel parents are so interested? There's so many parents, and we've had just an incredible response to this. Why do you think they're so interested in this approach to learning?
I think a lot of parents are interested in this approach to learning because they realize that the workforce is changing. Jobs are going to look completely different than what they do now. And from students that have been through Jefferson, they've had very positive experiences there. And when you just integrate those curricular areas together, it just gives the students a different way to learn. And my favorite part of this whole thing is I was with the 4th grade class a couple weeks ago, and they were engineering their Lego cars, and they were going down ramps. And normally you see kids get all upset, oh, my car didn't work, why didn't it work? But because those students had been exposed through the inquiry-based learning and learning to work as scientists, instead of getting mad, they just went together as a team. Okay, what can we do to improve this? And they'd look at other projects and say, okay, well, I noticed they have that, maybe we can do this. And just their way of thinking is completely different. And I think that's something that really attracts parents to Jefferson. When kids learn, or when they become invested into what they're learning, it makes it more meaningful for them, and it makes the whole experience in school that much better.
Great. Well, there's some things happening up at Jefferson. What are some of those current initiatives at Jefferson STEM, like technology and your announcements and favorite book? And I heard something about going paperless. So what's happening up there?
Yeah, one of the things I'm very happy that we're starting this spring is we're starting our new science curriculum. It's called EIE, or Engineering is Elementary, and that's where students get to meet a child from some part of the world. And for example, in first grade, they meet through a storybook a student in China, and they have a problem with the Great Wall. And the first graders got to learn about mortar and building walls, and the end product was they took golf balls to hit the wall to see how many times the golf ball would have to hit it for the wall to fall down. And throughout that whole lesson, going through the engineering design process. And so that really helps integrate the science, technology, engineering, and math, because there are different aspects of those into the lessons. As you mentioned, my morning announcements, I do through an app online called MoveNote. And so I record the announcements every night, either at school or at my house, and I have pictures that go along with it. And some of the things the students see on there, the math fact of the day, our words of the week, which are aligned to vocabulary words you might see on the MCA tests. And now the cool thing is we've put those online, so if a child is absent for a day, a parent can go online to the Jefferson website and see what the morning announcements are, so that way their child can have that more exposure to the fact of the day and our words of the day and just keep up with what's going on at school.
Very cool, very cool. So what are some plans for future programming? I know there's something going on maybe in one of your first grade teachers.
Yeah, next year we're very excited. We're going to have a 4th kindergarten section. As you mentioned earlier, we had such a great response to kindergarten students wanting to get in. We're able to have a 4th section, so we're going to have 4 sections now. Our first grade team, Mrs. Schmidt, Mrs. Fellman, and Mr. Gilland, have been really working hard on project-based learning, and they've created a field trip that they'll go to the same spot at different points throughout the year as a restoration thing on Prairie Island, so that way the kids can actually see their work that they've done. And we're going to continue our work with St. Mary's and Winona State and such. So.
Now you've been doing something with favorite book, right?
Yes. It was for the month of March, the I Love to Read. I had various staff members and school board members and district administrators share with the students what their favorite book was, and that can also be seen online on our Jefferson website.
Very good, very good. So is there anything else that you'd like to add about Jefferson and things that are going on there, Mr. Williams?
No, I just think Jefferson's a fantastic school, and I'm very proud to be the instructional leader of that school. And again, I can't say enough about how great the staff and the students are there. I mean, they are the ones that make it exciting for me to get up every morning and to come to work, and I'm just glad to be there.
Great, and we're glad to have you.
Thank you.
You've been watching Making the Grade today, and my guest has been Mr. Arthur Williams, principal at Jefferson STEM Elementary School in Winona.
A state-of-the-art fiber optic network. Sure, you've all heard that. But what does it mean? Well, if you're an HBC customer,
it's television in crystal clear high definition and whole home DVR, blazing fast internet speeds, perfect for gaming or movies, phone service with your choice of features, including unlimited long distance. And now, HBC has expanded service throughout much of southeast Minnesota. Call today and see what it's like to be on a state-of-the-art fiber optic network with a local company receiving national recognition for their service.
Hi, I'm Dave Dickey, and I invite you to join me for Community Connection on HBC TV 25. Each week, I'll bring you stories that keep you connected with what's happening in your community. Whether it's the latest local government meeting, information on managing your finances, the big community celebration, or just introducing you to the characters from around town, HBC keeps you connected to life in your community. I hope you'll join me for Community Connection Sundays, Mondays, and Tuesdays at 4, 5:30, and 9:30 p.m. on HBC TV 25.
Hello, I'm Dr. Scott Hannon, Superintendent of Winona Area Public Schools, and you're watching Making the Grade. Today it's really my pleasure to have with me 3 students from Winona Senior High School, and we're going to be talking about art and their involvement with the art program at the high school. And to my left is Jillian Hainsworth and Chris Hansen and Ellie Williams. Welcome to Making the Grade.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Good. Getting right into it here, how would you rate the art opportunities students have available to them in the Winona Area Public Schools?
You know, to be honest, I think that I've taken almost every single art class that there is to be taken at the high school. So I'd say that it's pretty good.
So you say that you're thinking that there's enough of them and they're good classes, they're very comprehensive, there's a variety of classes?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely.
Yeah, there's such a wide variety, like, I mean, from painting to drawing to pottery, whatever you want to do and whatever you want to focus on, they're not going to limit you. And I think that's one of our strengths, definitely.
There's definitely a wide variety of people involved with the art programs too.
Do you, is there a variety of mediums? Is that the word, that the right
Mediums.
word
Yeah.
to use?
Yeah.
Is there a
Definitely.
variety of mediums? Because I know I've walked down the art department sometimes and I've seen some of the work and it's like, wow, how'd that happen, or who did that? And it just seemed like, do you have a choice, or is there certain classes that you home in on one thing, or maybe there's another class that you can do your own thing?
Yeah, you can take classes specifically for painting or for, pottery or whatever you want to specifically look into, but I think one of the things that they do well, especially for like intro to art, they cover such a wide variety of different styles and different mediums to use, and in exploring what you want to do, I think that's very beneficial. So.
The same with classes like junior and senior studio, which Ellie and I were in this year. I'm in junior studio and Ellie's in senior studio. And you have a lot of independence to use whatever kind of medium you want to use.
So do you feel that by having those kinds of opportunities, that for you personally, that it really draws out some of the creative juices, or some of those real areas that you really want to concentrate in or have a real strong interest in?
Yeah, definitely. For senior studio this year, well, I suppose in junior studio last year, I kind of thought that it was a strange thing that it was only one trimester, and I expected it to be more of a studio style thing, but she actually gave us assignments. So this year in senior studio, it's getting towards the end of the year now, so she's kind of just let us focus on creating our portfolio so we can basically do whatever we want. And I think that freedom has allowed me to expand a lot and not be so restricted to certain projects.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, art's just one thing. Do you think that it's really helped you, round you out, spurred you on to be successful in other areas, shaped you in any way?
I definitely think so. I mean, there's a sense of accomplishment when you finish an art, like a piece, and like that can definitely carry over into something else you do.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think that art definitely has made me one of them, it has given me that well-rounded aspect. I mean, I do sports and I participate in school and everything like that too, but art definitely does. Creatively, it makes me one of, I guess it makes me a well-rounded person.
I would say that art is one of my main focuses, so it's not rounding me off so much as being the base of my education, because like this trimester I have 3 art classes and 2 English classes, so I'm in the art room 3/5 of the day, so it's just a good base, I think, for me.
Very good. I think you've all been involved with some art exhibitions, and so tell the audience what those things have been involved, what your exhibitions have been, and have you won any awards?
Well, right now, a few of my pieces, and I'm sure of yours too, are being entered in the U.S. Congressional Art Competition and the Minnesota High School League competition. So we don't know the awards or anything about that yet, but the exhibition should be up in the next few weeks.
Pretty heady competition, I would imagine.
Yeah.
It definitely is.
So how do you feel about that? I mean, is it kind of make you feel good, or it's like, wow, like it's another piece of art, or?
I think it's really exciting because last year Spencer Hodge actually went to Washington, D.C. with his congressional art piece, and he's one of my good friends, so I'm just kind of like, Spencer, I want to be like him.
It's definitely an accomplishment.
So,
I'm very proud.
do you get to have some of your artwork in some other places put up and exhibit, at least for a short time?
Yeah, well, a lot of our pieces are displayed in the district office, so they're displayed and they're able to be seen. And
Yeah, I guess I'm going to pat myself just a little bit on the back for doing that. That I just felt that we needed something to kind of perk up the offices here a few years ago, and thought what a great idea is to have student work. And it's not just senior high work; it's middle school students as well as some elementary students, and some of the work even by kids in first or second grade is like, wow, that was a great color combination, or it just fits in so well. And I just totally impressed all the time with the art. I too, when I was in high school, took all the art classes, but I'm still working on the stick man thing, and that didn't go over so well. So will art be part of your future?
Yeah, I'm a junior right now, but I'm looking at a number of different art colleges in the cities and Milwaukee. So.
Very good.
Yeah, I don't plan on it being my main focus in my future, but I do intend for it to be in my life because it is such a great part of me. So
I think my main philosophy behind that is I wouldn't want to major in art because I don't know what I could do with it right out of college. So I think that I will minor in art, but art will definitely be something that is always part of my life.
Let me ask you all this, that one of the things that I've noticed in the last 10 years especially is that the use of technology in art. Is that something you've been exposed to a bit?
A little bit.
Yeah, I've toured the Minneapolis College of Art and Design, and they have a number of 3D printers. So students that go there experience like that whole side of technology and art. And I've experimented some with digital art using Photoshop and Illustrator.
So, I mean, I would think that on one hand, it could really spur on your creative abilities and desires. On the other hand, it might be, the technology might be able to, in a way, not only enhance it, but maybe take over so that your creative mind doesn't have to work so much. Just thinking out here, so.
mm-hmm.
I personally think that I like the more physical experience in creating a piece of work, and you can like actually painting the canvas or sculpting
Sure.
something. I
It
feel like
does,
that's a lot
yeah.
more rewarding.
It feels more your own when it is.
Definitely.
You know, it's physically, you know, it's you making it.
Yeah, the technology really, in some respects, depersonalizes, I would think.
Exactly.
But yet there's some really good stuff that can be done with technology also. So you kind of mentioned you were participating in junior or senior studio. Explain to the viewer what that means.
Well, I think that it's a class based around like expansion of your artistic abilities. So the main goal of junior studio is to get you ready for senior studio, and then the main goal of senior studio is to create a portfolio for AP credit, and then also at the end of the year set up the senior show, which is actually coming up. We set it up May 7th, and it's up until the 28th of May, and the reception for that is May 14th, and that's down at the Art Center, Winona Art Center at Franklin and 5th.
Mm-hmm.
So.
That was my next question. You were doing so well there. And I think later on, maybe a week or so later, we're going to have a little opening at the district office with the students and their parents of those that have contributed some of their artwork from the district-wide. So hopefully some of you will have a piece there. The bad news is if you do that, you got to have it there for the exhibits for a year. So.
Yeah, actually.
So if you're a junior, it's okay. You can get your piece the next year. If you're a senior, well, we'll get it back to you. Do any of you have some artwork up in the district office?
Yeah, I have a piece from last year up there. I actually was involved with setting up a lot of that with the placement and framing and hanging it. So that was a lot of fun.
Very good.
I think I am going to have a self-portrait in it this upcoming year now.
Good.
So
the
can see my
people in
face.
the office can see you all the time.
Exactly.
We'll have to strategically place that.
Yes.
We've got this new part in that new part. Well, it's remodeled the Coulter Math and Science area, and we want to put student artwork up on some of the walls there.
Mm-hmm.
Do any of you have some things that you think are going up there?
Actually, the only piece of art that's in there right now is a painting that I did. It's of a circle with koi fish spread out from it. It's right in the entrance.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I painted, I have a painting going up there too. That's going to be up there pretty soon, I hope. It's a giant howler monkey, and it's kind of like reaching for a bird. It's got a good message, I think. So.
I think there's also a piece of mine, an abstract piece I did a few months ago going up there.
Okay, very good. So what's the favorite medium that you like to work with?
I like figure drawing a lot, like with models, and just using graphite or chalk.
Really? Well, then you could help me with my stick men. I need help.
I love acrylic paint, and especially nature and realistic natural environments. So.
I always fall back on acrylic, but I'm trying to expand a lot more because acrylic is a little bit limiting in the fact that, like oil painting, you can keep working on it and you can keep altering it, and acrylic is pretty permanent, but usually acrylic for me.
You know, I think it was interesting here in the past year that we went through a real era of politics and turmoil in this country, and here to find out that former President George Bush is quite an accomplished painter. I don't know if you've seen that lately, but he does a pretty darn good job. I think, you know, I'm not an art critic, but I look at it and think, boy, he could do a lot better than I could. And so I think that's one of those things that you can, the talent that people have that you can always use in some way, shape, or form. And I'm certainly respectful of anybody that has artistic talent. So you guys are cream of the crop, but you're also just the examples of the many students that we have in the district that have a lot of artistic talent and been able to display that and show that in a lot of places, a lot of forums over the last few years. And we're looking forward to seeing what you're going to produce at the art shows, the senior art show. That'll be at the Winona Arts Center on the corner of
5th and Franklin.
5th and Franklin, and we've got the opening at the district office. That'll be, I think, a week or two later, so that's coming up. So congratulations to all of you and your abilities. So Jillian Hainsworth, Chris Hansen, and Ellie Williams. So thank you for being on Making
thanks for
the
having
Grade.
Thank you.
You've been watching Making the Grade. I'm Dr. Scott Hannon, Superintendent of Winona Area Public Schools. Thank you again for watching.